So which adventure would you take your Volkswagen Beetle on? Guys, the stories are just incredible when it comes to this lovely, beloved car, whether it's a Beetle, a Ghia, a microbus, a thing. I can't go to a gas station or go to a car show without people telling me the history that they've had with this car, whether it's a cross-country trip, a marriage trip, coastal trip, rally trip, you name it. The stories are endless. I don't know of any other car in history that has this amount of stories. It's just incredible. So I've come up with 5, I think these are top 5 on my list of the stories that I've heard and the adventures that I've heard from most folks. If I missed an adventure or you have a really cool one or an interesting one that you want to share with the folks here, this is not a set in stone list. Leave it in the comment section below. And if it's super interesting, hit me up. Maybe we'll have a show about your adventure. I'd love to hear your cruises, guys, and hear what you have done and what you have been through with your classic Volkswagen. So without further ado, let's go. Before we get into it, I want to give a big thank you to the sponsor of this video, Aura. So folks, most of us vintage car guys are also very vintage at heart. So doesn't it bother you that so much of our personal information is on the internet? Data brokers sell your info to scammers and spammers. They then target you and loved ones. They exploit folks by accessing personal information, accessing social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. I don't know if you saw this, but AT&T revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released on the dark web. They recommended those that were affected to use strong passwords, monitor account activity, and consider credit freezes or fraud alerts from credit bureaus. Back in the day before tech, this rarely ever happened. I did a quick Google search of my name and it was unsettling to say the least of what info comes up. My birthplace, home address, email address, past employment, and even old relatives show up that were never, ever even on a computer. That's why recently I've been using Aura. If you're looking for a way to keep your online life secure and hassle-free, Aura is the perfect solution. Aura is a comprehensive digital security platform that helps protect your personal information, monitor your credit, and safeguard your devices from cyber threats, all in one easy-to-use app. With Aura, you can have peace of mind knowing that your data is safe from hackers, identity thieves, and other online dangers. Aura can show which data brokers are selling your info and automatically submits an opt-out request. They also offer VPN, antivirus, parental controls, ID theft insurance, and password management. Aura does all of this for me. And best of all, I don't have to download several different apps just because a company couldn't keep my data secure. If you want to shrink your digital data footprint and protect yourself from hackers, sign up with the link below this video and also on the screen with Aura. It's a 2-week free trial. Take control of your online security and protect what matters most. Sign up with Aura today. Your future self will thank you. Let's get back to the video. So number 1 on the list, I definitely would say, is the cross-country trip. Now, most folks that I talk to back in the day, the 60s, the 70s, there were a lot of trips from California to New York to California. A lot of people took their air-cooled Volkswagens cross-country, and back in a time when there were no creature comforts, this car is loud, this car is bumpy, it has a smell to it, all that good Volkswagen stuff. While you're traveling, say 3,000 miles cross-country in a Volkswagen Beetle. One of the most popular stories, if the most popular, is that my good friend Vince Vespi, who had a 65 Karmann Ghia convertible, went on 2 honeymoons with his Karmann Ghia, went all the way down to Mexico, even to Guatemala. Go figure. He camped out all across the country and saw so many different sites. So just truly amazing. I think the cross-country trip is super popular. I did a video several years ago on how to prepare for a long trip and what you should be kind of packing into the car and what you should have prepared. God forbid you do break down, because you do have to anticipate that. The parts today are not the greatest, so you're going to have to keep spares and things like that in the car just in case. But cross-country trip, super popular. And I would say number 2 on the list would be the coastal drive, the US Highway 1 from, say, Washington all the way down to LA, that kind of thing, or San Diego. You take that US Highway 1 coastal trip. It's a beautiful sight. I glanced at that when I went to the Treffin several years ago, the SoCal Vintage Treffin, and before the day of the show, they would have a rally, and we took that coastal highway along Laguna Beach and that kind of thing, and and saw the beach while we're driving this coast, and that is truly remarkable. It's a beautiful sight. They do it here on the east as well. I've done it here a little bit in Florida as I cruise the coast with my convertible. There's nothing like looking over your shoulder and looking at that blue crystal clear water, Caribbean-like type water. It's just really, really nice. I've even seen videos on YouTube of guys along the coastline in Aruba. I've been to Aruba myself. Just a beautiful place, and to be able to drive a Beetle in a place where you can see a beautiful beach, it's a sight to see. Number 3, I definitely would say, is the mountain expedition, going through the mountains of Colorado or Montana, or even the west inland part of North Carolina. You know, those areas are just gorgeous when it comes to driving your Volkswagen through the mountains and seeing snow on the tops of the mountains and such, and the skiing areas. You know, you've seen those pictures and videos online with people taking, you know, cruises through the mountains. It's just, again, another great sight. There's something about being in a classic car like a Beetle as opposed to being in a new car today. I know new cars today, people do take the road trips, and there's more creature comforts with those new cars today. There's more, you know, you can sit back and really get comfortable in those cars. They have so much in there for you. But when you're into classic, going through those areas, you know, there's something special about it. It just brings you back in time. So yeah, the mountain expedition is number 3 on the list. Number 4 would be desert rally. If I had a Baja Bug, or had a dune buggy, or a sand rail, or something like that, and cruising through the deserts and the dunes and doing a little rally racing, even, you know, just for fun, I think that would be super awesome. Me, I'm a perfectionist. I like to keep my cars clean, and if God forbid a rock hits it or something, you get all paranoid. But something like that, you can put all that away and just, you know, go for it, go for the gold, and just cruise around. But it would scare me that, God forbid, you did break down and you are in the middle of the desert, middle of nowhere. I mean, hopefully you have some cell service, you can get a call in. But I would think, you know, back in the day, if you're in the desert and you did break down, you might be in trouble. So, but that sounds like a freaking fun time to just take your bug and go off-roading and grab a few friends and have a good time. And number 5 would be the city cruise. I guess it's pretty cool. You know, me coming from New York, I actually never took my bug down to Manhattan. I was just afraid of the infrastructure and the bumps and the bruises and the potholes to damage the car in some form. There is a show, I don't know if they still do it, on Governor's Island, where you would drive down the West Side Highway and take the ferry across. You get on the ferry with your bug, and you take it across to Governor's Island, and they would have a show there. So I can see, looking at the skyline while you're driving and cruising through with your buds, and they have their Volkswagens, and whatever city you're in, you know, it's definitely got to be a really nice sight. Just hope you don't have craters that you got to dodge, and, you know, crazy drivers out there too. So things you have to factor in, but I definitely would think a city cruise would look awesome through the windows of a classic Volkswagen. So guys, I hope you liked that video. That's 5 adventures that I picked out, again, from the most popular stories that I've heard from folks that have had Volkswagens in the past. If I missed anything, I missed another adventure, leave it in the comment section below. Would love to hear your adventure. And yeah, guys, that's it. I'll see you next week.
Beep, beep.